Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Oriema for YesNetwork.com here at Legends Field in Tampa. I'm catching up with John Flaherty. And, John, what are some observations that you've made from spring training so far?
Well, I think, first of all, Joe, everybody's looking at the pitching. You know, these young pitchers, everybody wants to see how they're doing. They're all throwing the ball well, but Mike Mussina, for me, really has been the guy so far that I think he's given the Yankees a breath of fresh air, maybe a sigh of relief, because he's the guy that's going to be really key to that rotation. With all these young pitchers on the innings limit, Mike Mussina is going to have to go out there and have a kind of a bounce-back year. And from what we've seen so far, it looks like he's going to do that.
Now, you mentioned the young pitchers. Being a former catcher, how do you go into a season, preparing these young guys for the long haul? What do you tell them? What do you prepare them for?
I think Jorge Posada's job and Jose Molina's job is just to get comfortable with these young kids. Develop a relationship. Obviously, Phil Hughes has been up there, Giaba, Ian Kennedy, but they haven't been up there that long, and I think it's their job to develop a relationship, find out what makes them click when they're going good, and also what gets them back on track when they're going bad. But with Dave Island here, the young pitching coach who has had all three of these kids in the minor leagues, I think it's really going to make that transition a lot smoother this year with him being around.
Now, one of the spots that's really open for competition here at spring training has been a couple of spots in the bullpen. What have you seen from some of the guys that like the Billy Trabers, and are spots open? Who do you think is going to ultimately be in the bullpen when the season starts?
I think Joe Girardi really likes the idea of having a long man out there, so I think Karstens is in good shape. Rasner kind of fits that bill too. A guy who can go long, he can start, but I think Karstens they like in that long relief role. Traber's throwing the ball well, so they got some options down there with where they want to go. You're going to have the mainstays. It looks like probably Job is going to be at the end of that bullpen with Mariano, and Farnsworth has had a good spring. He's a guy Joe Girardi really is looking for a rebound year from. And spring training, you can't get too excited about it because when those bright lights come on in the Bronx, we'll see how he does. But I think he's going to have to kind of earn the right to pitch later in ball games. We'll see how Joe Girardi uses him.
Now, another competition here at spring training has been first base. Joe Girardi has made it known that he wants Jason Giambi to win this job, but, you have Shelley Duncan, you have Wilson Betterman, you have Morgan Ensberg. Do you think Giambi's going to be the first baseman once the season starts? And do you think Shelley Duncan and Betterman have room on this roster?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt they have room on this roster. Jason Giambi, to me, is going to be playing first base, I would say, 4 to 5 days a week. I think that would be a perfect number for him. Joe Girardi, again, it's tough because Jason's numbers are so much better out when he plays first base offensively. But he'll look good one day and then he takes a step backward the next. But physically, he looks great. He feels good. So I think best case scenario, 4 to 5 days a week for him. Shelley Duncan has impressed me at first base. We've seen it before with guys like Gary Sheffield. It's not the easiest thing to do, but with the help of Tino Martinez, he's looked pretty good over there. And, right-handed power, you need to find a way to get his bat in the lineup. Bedemeat's kind of, in my opinion, the odd man out, a little utility job, and it's going to be tough for him because he has power, but when you don't get those at-bats every day, it's tough to get comfortable. So that's going to be an interesting situation to watch.
Now, you mentioned Joe Girardi. What are your expectations for Joe Girardi and this team this season?
Well, obviously we've seen they're going to be prepared. Physically, they're in really good shape. And, that's one of those things. Does that really matter? But I think mentally, if you're physically in shape, you got that out of the way. Now you're ready to go out there and have a big year. Joe Girardi is a very prepared person. We've seen it with the Yes Network and how he prepares for it. I've seen it as a bench coach. Now his job is to make sure the players get all the information they need, but not too much of it. Know who you can give more information to, a Mike Mussina, as opposed to a younger pitcher. But this Yankee ball club is going to be prepared to go out there every day. If the young kids pitch well and they stay away from injuries, they should be there right at the end.
All right. Thank you very much, John. This has been Catching Up with John Flaherty here on YesNetwork.com. Keep coming back to YesNetwork.com for all of your spring training video and your Yankee needs. I'm Joe Oriema saying we'll see you next time.